In the late 70s, during the golden age of Japanese superbikes, the best motorcycle was considered to be the one that could complete a quarter mile the fastest. Kawasaki USA resorted to one crazy idea: to sell their flagship model with a pre-installed turbo kit at their dealerships. This beast delivered 130 horsepower and devoured a quarter mile in 10 seconds. It was a motorcycle for true maniacs. In the late 70s, the KZ1000 was Kawasaki's flagship model, competing with the Suzuki GS and Honda CB for dominance on the street and the track. It was a direct descendant of the legendary Z1, the motorcycle that knocked the CB 750 off its pedestal in 1972 and solidified Kawasaki's reputation as a manufacturer of powerful engines. Throughout the 1970s, the Z was gradually updated, ultimately reaching 1,016 cubic centimeters in the KZ1000, which became the Z1RN. 1978 due to changes in style, the addition of cast wheels, and the inclusion of a headlight fairing. Unfortunately for Kawasaki, in 1977 to 1978, the Z1 was falling behind schedule and was in urgent need of an update. Kawasaki has long been considered a supplier of particularly fast and powerful machines, with more engine than frame. The two-stroke engines of the H series were a good example of the reputation earned by Kawasaki's sport bikes. A monster of an engine, a flexible frame and suspension, mediocre brakes. Riding fast is at your own risk. The Z continued this tradition by inserting a hot four-cylinder engine into an outdated chassis, but by the end of the 1970s, competitors had caught up in terms of power. So what should you do when your flagship is falling behind competitors and spitting racers out due to an outdated chassis? If your first thought is to give it even more power, then congratulations, you are as crazy as Kawasaki USA in '78, and you would likely be the target audience for the Z1 or TC, the meanest, most ferocious superbike that hit the streets in the late 70s. The Z1 or TC was an astonishingly underdeveloped machine in almost every respect, and it was so absurdly powerful that it was hard to believe it was sold through official dealers. In fact, this was not a production model at all, but rather a dealer special offer created to lure crazy racers into Kawasaki showrooms in the US and Canada, and to reduce the inventory of the sluggish Z1R. The TC was the result of installing a turbo kit on the standard Z1R. No internal modifications were made to the engine. There were no changes to the suspension, no reinforcement of the frame, just the turbo kit and an additional 40 horsepower. Yes, the TC was rated at an impressive 130 horsepower, at a time when a Ford the 5.8 produced 140 on a good day, and it was not only the amount of power that was impressive, but also how it generated that power. Up to 4,500 to 5,000 RPM, it behaved like a standard KZ, but when the needle rose higher, then hell broke loose and the motorcycle surged forward with a sharp acceleration. In other words, like any early turbo machine. TC, arose as a result of certain circumstances that are unlikely to ever happen again. Alan Masick, the former CEO of Kawasaki USA, who assisted with the original Z1 project, founded a company called TurboCycle Corporation in California to offer turbo kits for speed-hungry riders. In the golden era of Japanese superbikes, the company was popular among customers and offered turbo kits for the Z1, CB750, CBX, and of course, the KZ1000. Masick made an agreement with Kawasaki in North America to take the Z1R, install the TCC kit, and then sell the finished Z1 or TC through Kawasaki dealers without a warranty. The motorcycle will become the flagship that will attract attention to the brand until they can replace the aging KZ. It would also help to get rid of some unpopular Z1R models that were stuck in showrooms. Technically, the bike was specifically produced by TCC for the secondary market, which freed Kawasaki and the dealers from any warranty claims. Buyers were required to sign a legal waiver and forfeit the standard warranty. The performance was astonishing. The motorcycle could cover a quarter mile in 10 seconds with a finishing speed of over 200 kilometers per hour. At that time, it was simply hard to believe. Owners quickly realized why they had to give up their warranties. A poorly tuned, or rather, completely untuned turbo engine often broke down. The owner was simply risking over-revving the engine by missing a shift, as there was a very sharp spike in power at the top of the tachometer. In such a case, contact between the piston and the valve was guaranteed. The TC78 earned a reputation as a fearsome, difficult-to-handle beast that was the king of the quarter mile. It was precisely this reputation that sold motorcycles during those years. If you said you had something too fast and tough, you could be sure the crowds would line up to buy it. Another production turbo bike will appear only in 1982, when the legendary ugly yet well-designed Honda CX500 Turbo hits the market. This will be followed by a brief trend towards turbo motorcycles. The Z1 RTC outperformed them all in the market and surpassed later motorcycles in impeccable performance. It has become a rare collector's item with only 500 units in the USA and Canada, and with a reputation as a tough street beast, it's no surprise that prices for the Z1 RTC are steadily rising today, and the available bikes are being snapped up by enthusiasts who are aware of the unique, psychotic turbo bike Kawasaki.